Have you ever looked at someone successful and just wondered, what's the real difference? Is it just pure luck, raw talent, some secret formula they're hiding? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to break down the 10 key differences that really separate an ordinary path from a successful one.
And boom, right out of the gate, we get the central idea. The source material is super clear on this. Success isn't something you're just born with. It's something you build. It's not about some magical, innate talent. It's all about the small things you do every single day, your habits, your thoughts, and your actions. So how do we actually build that success? Well, it really comes down to these 3 powerful pillars. First, it all starts inside your head, with your mindset. Then you've got to turn those thoughts into actual, real-world action. And finally, the secret sauce, building the habits that make it all stick for the long haul.
Okay, let's dive into pillar 1, changing your mindset. Seriously, before anything else can change on the outside, something has to shift on the inside. It all begins right up here.
This is one of the biggest divides you'll see. For most people, failure is terrifying, right? It feels like a final judgment, a big red stop sign. But for successful people, it's totally different. They don't love failing, but they're not afraid of it. They just see it as part of the game. And that's because they've adopted this perspective. Failure isn't a statement about your worth. It's just information. It's data. It's your GPS saying wrong turn, recalculating. When you see it like that, as a compass instead of a judge, it completely loses its power to stop you.
Okay, here's another huge mindset shift. Who are you trying to impress? Ordinary people tend to live for an audience, always worried about what everyone else thinks. They let other people's opinions control them. Successful people, though, they build their sense of value from the inside. They've got their own internal scoreboard.
This one's all about who's in the driver's seat. Are you a passenger in your own life, just hoping you end up somewhere good? Or are you the pilot with a flight plan? See, living by luck is passive. You're just waiting for things to happen to you. Living by a plan is active. You're making things happen for you.
And that's the key takeaway for this whole pillar. Success is not a lottery ticket. It's not an accident. It's the predictable result of deliberate choices and consistent work. It's the outcome you create when you line up your thoughts and your actions with a clear goal.
All right, on to pillar 2. Because a great mindset is awesome, but a great mindset that just sits on the couch is, well, it's just daydreaming. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where your ideas become real.
Oh, this is a total game changer. So many of us think we have to feel inspired before we can start. But successful people know the secret. It's the other way around. Action is what creates motivation. Just starting, even when you're not feeling it, is what builds the momentum you were waiting for. And this flows right from that last point. You know, if you only work when you're in a good mood, you're gonna be pretty inconsistent, because moods change all the time. But goals are your North Star. Successful people tie their actions to their destination, not the emotional weather of the day. That's what discipline really is.
We've all heard it, and we've all probably said it. I just don't have time. But here's the truth. Nobody finds time. You make time. Successful people get that it's all about priorities. They don't magically have more hours in the day. They just ruthlessly protect the time for what matters most. Think about it. When you hit a wall, what's your first reaction? Does your brain immediately start listing all the reasons why you can't move forward? That's an excuse mindset. Or does it kick into gear and ask, okay, how can we get over, under, or around this thing? That's a solution mindset, and it makes all the difference.
And that leads us perfectly into our third and final pillar, building habits. Look, if mindset is the why and action is the what, then habits are the how. This is what makes success stick. It's about creating automated systems that keep you going, especially on the days you don't feel like it. This is such a critical distinction. Listen, everybody gets tired. Burnout is a real thing. The difference is what you do about it. Stopping when you're tired suggests the end of the road. But resting is a strategic pause. It's part of the plan. It's how you recharge so you can get back in the game. It's smart, not weak. You know, in the world we live in now, if you're standing still, you're actually moving backward. Just learning enough to get by isn't a winning strategy anymore. Successful people are always curious. They don't see learning as something that ends with a diploma. It's the fuel that keeps their engine running for life.
So, as we get to what might be the single most important difference of all, I have to ask you a question, a real question. Do you truly want to change your life? Think about it, because your honest answer to that question is everything. And there it is. This is the big one. Almost everybody says they want a different life, they want the new outcome, but they want it without changing the daily routine that's creating their current outcome. That's the disconnect. Successful people just get it. You can't have a new life with your old habits. Period.
Just let that sink in for a second. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They are the blueprint that your entire day, your entire week, your entire life is built on. You know that saying, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems? Well, your habits are your systems. Okay, we've walked through the whole framework. We've seen how mindset, action, and habits all work together. But knowing this stuff is one thing, doing it is another. So the spotlight now shifts to you. So let's just recap the journey, right? It all comes down to these three things. Pillar 1 is about changing how you think. Pillar 2 is about changing how you act. And Pillar 3 is about changing how you endure by building those habits that keep you going. Think, act, and endure. And that leaves us with one final crucial question. Don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. That never works. Let's think smaller. Let's think right now. What is one small, tiny habit that you can start or stop doing today? Because that's where real change actually begins. Not tomorrow, not next week, but with that one small choice you make right now.